is a checklist. A checklist, a form of forms that you need to file. And it's attached to the Form 1120. We'll see that right here, or 1120S, and also any other 1120, but for most of our clients, these are the forms that we work with. And it's an interesting form. Sometimes it's forgotten, which can cause a problem with the IRS. What's interesting is how it specifically relates to these regulations, and then down here again. So I have the regulations on this PowerPoint. As a hyperlink, you can go over to them. The first regulation, these are really important for international tax planning. Both of these regulations together are the law on deciding when a foreign entity is a corporation, when it's disregarded, when it's a partnership, and lastly, when it's a foreign trust. And so you can see that making a mistake here will cause a lot of problems, and the law is not as clear as we would like. The law is clear, I should say, in the first regulation, the 301.7701-2. This is the regulation that lists what's known as per se corporations, and that is foreign corporations that the IRS has explored and has decided that they have all the corporate characteristics under our domestic law to always be classified as a corporation, and the check-the-box election does not change their status. So much like if you were to form a California corporation, you can't file a check-the-box election to make it a disregarded entity. Regulation 301.7701 talks about the other type of foreign entities, and there's a lot of them. There are foreign companies, foreign corporations in other nations. They quite often call them a company, not a corporation. There are foreign LLCs. There are foundations in Panama. Liechtenstein has its own type of corporations, as we've discussed. And so you need to go through all these things that we just discussed about these classifications and making the determination. By far the most difficult aspect is anything that is not classified as a corporation under our concept. Once again, quite often it's called a company under the laws of places like UK and most of Europe. Those entities will be, if they're not a per se, you'll have the advantage of knowing that they can be either a corporation if you do nothing, or you can use the check the box. Other kind of entities, there's a lot of unclarity and don't have any really good advice to you. You can always seek an IRS ruling, but not any safe advice. So the first question is there a disregarded entity? To have a foreign entity disregarded, that means you have filed a checkbox election. So it doesn't happen without you taking an affirmative action. And you would attach the form 8858. Is there a foreign partnership? A lot of places have partnership laws. UK has a lot. So for a foreign entity to be a partnership for our law, one partner has to be liable for all the debts of the entity. If not, then the entity is not going to be a partnership. It's going to be a foreign corporation unless you file the check the box election. Special questions again on the foreign partnership. As I mentioned before, this is a topic that IRS is slowly approaching as far as shifting income. Form 5471, we know about that. That's the controlled foreign corporation return. Foreign trust, once again, we've talked about that some with regards to this form, and that's an important concept to look at. If it is a foreign trust, remember Form 3520A must be filed by the trustee. The trustee in that case may be the manager of a foundation. Of course, foreign bank account. This is an older law. We don't see much of it anymore. It's like the disc in the FISC, so we don't see that too much. So I won't spend much time on that. And that's the end of this form. It's an interesting form because it's not signed by anybody. It's just an attachment.